Atop tall towers, clawing against the black sky of hell, the sorcerers of the court of the Seven-Headed Serpent perform rituals and spells to advance the schemes and machinations of their lords. They meditate in the scrying chambers, and the eerie sound of their insane chanting echoes throughout their lord's fiefdom. It is their ululating cries that summon their lord's warband to battle. A mighty devil lord might have thousands of sorcerers under their command. Each is formed from a tiny sliver of a fallen angel that shattered after being cast out of heaven. Not truly dead or alive, they exist at the exact moment when their original divine life ended. They have lost all the original seraphic gifts their original whole form once had, but thanks to their celestial origins, no matter how fallen and diminished, they possess the potential for channeling great power, acting as conduits of magic. The sorcerers study their secret spells of destruction and manipulation from ancient tablets found atop many-peaked and unsettling mountains in hell. For just as Yahweh gave his laws atop of the holy mountain, so does hell provide its power to its dark arts from pinnacles of hell. To find the tablets, the sorcerers use blind augurs and soothsayers who wandered too far to seek enlightenment and found damnation instead. After listening to the clues of their diviners, sorcerers study the ancient lore and ever-shifting maps of hell that fills their blasphemous libraries. When the time and place is discerned, a great expedition is mounted to discover one of these priceless tablets. It may take decades or centuries or even millennia to find the tablet, for time in hell flows in uneven waves, shifting back and forth, and the wilds of hell are ever-changing and filled with many strange and deadly creatures. When the expedition reaches the appointed mountain, the sorcerer must climb to the top alone. The mountain's crown is ringed with standing stones that hum with a coiled power, and above the stones, a great pillar of smoke hangs like an abscess in the sky, and fell voices whisper from it. The sorcerer enters the ring praying to his dark masters that he will return with the prized tablet. Then the presence in the smoke judges them. Most are found unworthy, and the tablet melts their body over 7 years, draining its tarnished divinity to enhance the spells inscribed on the tablet for a more worthy sorcerer to find. In the rare case of when a sorcerer returns with one of the tablets, armies of demon scribes must translate and decipher what it does. Oftentimes, the results are catastrophic. It is not uncommon for one of the devil lords to keep and its surrounding fiefdoms to be completely annihilated by the power found in these tablets, but some are successful, and the sorcerer becomes a mighty master of goetic spells of the tablet. Their spells powered by the suffering of wretched mortals the court buys from the hell's marketers, or acquires as tithe from their mortal followers. Each sorcerer specializes in a school of one of the 7 deadly sins. Sorcerers come in many forms and manipulate their own bodies to better cast the mighty spells that they are charged with. Some will have many arms, and others multiple heads, or countless alterations and terrible improvements, some self-administered, others by force, based on the whims of the archdevil and their cabal of high sorcerers who lead their goetic strategy. Sorcerers' feet do not touch the ground, a distant echo of their angelic past, but instead float across the battlefields of no man's land, chanting the cruel gospels of hell as they advance. Their dark wisdom and cunning makes them equally capable of leading one of the court's warbands, or acting as advisors to one of the nobles of the court as they stride forth into the mortal realms. Alrighty, that's the lore, and it's an absolutely baller one this week. I feel like I'm potentially biased because the court and everything about the court is new. So in my mind, I'm getting like mad dopamine smacks from how fresh it all is. but I really feel like the design of everything around the court, including the consistency and feel and vibe of the lore, is just setting it apart a little bit from the rest of Hell. Don't get me wrong, I love the Black Grail and I love my Heretic Legions, and I will have warbands of both, but I feel like the court, maybe it's just because it appeals to me on a level that is really quite strong, which I'll go into momentarily, but I do feel like this is evidence that the production process, the thought process, whatever it is that, you know, Mike and Tuomas and James are doing and thinking, and their processes behind the scenes as they polish everything up and coalesce, and maybe they're getting better at landing on like a true vision or whatever for how all this stuff will play out, how from the design process it will impact on the table play, and then that is taken into account with the lore. But I'll only really know that for sure when we get to see the rules, and we haven't seen any rules for any units in the court of the Seven-Headed Serpent yet. But these guys are dope as shit, and basically in the lore it's written in for you to kit bash with these ones in particular. It's like, look, just go ham. These guys make themselves whatever they need to be to excel at their craft, which is kind of dope. And this image is actually quite disturbing. That is a serpent in the intestines. I feel I'm seeing, you know, dick jokes in the Discord, because we make dick jokes in the Discord, but to me it's serpentine. I'm seeing echoes of a face of a skull in the chest. I'm seeing little bits of the saint, the desecrated saint from last week in here. I'm loving this consistency across all the designs of this particular faction. I'm enjoying the consistency in the lore. There's the constant element that the court of the Seven-Headed Serpent is the worn down, degenerate remains of things that used to be angels and things that used to be demons, and things that basically used to be far as terrifying as they are conceptually to a mortal, of things that are terrifyingly eroded from what they used to be. And that's kind of why they end up in no man's land, because I'm reasonably sure the state of the game is that the bigger things can't cross, the more powerful things can't cross. That's why we're not dealing with a hegemonic age right now, and there's only ever been 2 of them in the 800 years or so of the Trench Crusade lore. So these things are all incredibly scary to a human being, especially like an untrained human being. And you're going to have like prophetesses and castigators and, you know, all these kind of elements on the human side who are capable of dealing with them and can deal with them through the modern advancement of tech and their own fate and all that kind of good stuff. And I really, you know, I'm loving the power scaling of everything, and it also gives you a good idea of the brutality of existence in hell, where even these things that are, if you think about it, even a splinter of an angel, right? What we know about angels within the lore, even the splinter of one would be intensely powerful. So for whatever it is to dull that down to the point where it's kind of corruptible and imprintable by hell and can be turned into one of these goddamn things is just very cool and very exciting. And I really love the visuals. One of the reasons I've realized why I really love the visuals is because all this stuff is kind of late 80s to mid 90s metal t-shirts that I would have worn. These would be absolutely perfect. Like if I could go back in time with these designs and put them on those t-shirts, you have no idea how much money I would have made back then. Just absolutely insane kind of death metal, black metal-esque design work, yet ever so slightly dragging in the, I don't mean this in a bad way, I mean this in a very good way, in a very respectful way, because I like these bands, dragging in the more kind of cartoony nature, if you will, of like the Eddie mascots from the Iron Maidens of the world. And yeah, just absolutely love it. Like, all of this stuff would be awesome on a fucking metal t-shirt at the end of the day. So yeah, I can't get enough of the designs. I really cannot wait to see all the minis for this faction, and I will do whatever I possibly can to get this to the field as quick as possible as soon as rules are out. Like, I will I will have the folks that I play my games with primed for when the rules drop, and we will just very quickly make warbands and probably have like 4 or 5 games going at the same time. So yeah, incredibly exciting. Anyway, I'm going to stop rabbiting. I'm talking a lot because I've had COVID and I haven't really been able to talk for about a week, and that's like not my mojo. I like to chat. So I'll let you go, and I will talk to you all over the coming days. I've got some interesting stuff coming, so keep an eye out. All the best.